China's economy is facing its biggest test in decades. The headlines scream, China's $18 trillion bubble just burst. For years, the world watched as China's growth seemed unstoppable. But now, the mood has shifted. News stories show worried investors, empty buildings, and closed factories. The problems did not appear overnight. They have been building for years. Today, they are out in the open for everyone to see. It is not just a slowdown, it feels like something more serious. A turning point for the world's second biggest economy. People in cities like Beijing and Shanghai are feeling the stress. Jobs are harder to find, stores are quieter. Many Chinese families, once confident in their future, are now more careful with their money. The sense of urgency is real. This is not just China's problem. When China stumbles, the world feels it. The next chapters in this story could shape the global economy for years to come. Recent data from China shows that economic growth is losing speed, raising concerns both within the country and around the world. The numbers coming out of China's financial centers are painting a picture of an economy that is no longer racing ahead as it once did, but instead is starting to slow down noticeably. For many years, China was the envy of the world, growing at over 8% each year. This rapid expansion transformed cities, lifted millions out of poverty, and made China a global economic powerhouse. Skyscrapers rose seemingly overnight, and new infrastructure projects reshaped the landscape at a breathtaking pace. Now, however, growth is closer to 4% or even less, a dramatic slowdown compared to the past. This shift is not just a small dip, it marks a significant turning point for a country that has become accustomed to double-digit growth rates. This is a big change for a country used to fast progress. People, on the streets, are starting to notice the difference, with a sense of uncertainty replacing the optimism that once fueled everyday life. The official numbers look weaker than before, and many experts believe the true picture is even more worrying. Some analysts suggest that the slowdown may be deeper than what is being reported, with hidden risks lurking beneath the surface. A huge part of China's past growth came from building new homes and offices. The construction boom created jobs, boosted demand for materials, and drove economic activity in countless other sectors. But now, property prices are falling in many cities. Once bustling real estate markets are seeing fewer buyers, and the value of homes is dropping, sometimes for the first time in decades. Home sales have dropped sharply. Real estate agents who once had no shortage of clients are now waiting in empty offices, hoping for buyers who may never come. Builders are struggling to finish projects. Many construction sites have come to a standstill, with cranes and machinery sitting idle as funding dries up and demand weakens. Some developers have gone bankrupt, leaving half-built towers behind. These abandoned projects are a stark reminder of the risks that come with rapid expansion and heavy borrowing. Families who bought homes as investments are feeling the pain. Many had hoped that their properties would increase in value, providing financial security for the future. Now many see the value of their apartments falling, sometimes by significant amounts. This has left homeowners anxious and uncertain about what comes next. Some owe more on their mortgage than their property is worth. This situation, known as negative equity, can be financially devastating and is becoming more common as prices continue to drop. This is called negative equity, and it makes people spend less. When families feel poorer, they cut back on shopping, dining out, and other expenses, which in turn slows down the entire economy. The property sector is important for the whole economy. It supports millions of jobs, from construction workers to real estate agents, and is closely linked to banking, manufacturing, and retail. When it slows down, so does everything else: jobs, banking, and even people's trust in the future. The ripple effects are being felt across the country, as uncertainty grows and confidence in the economy is shaken. For China, finding a way to restore growth and stability is now more important than ever. Across China, more and more homes and office spaces are sitting empty, with entire apartment complexes and commercial towers left unsold. The sight of these deserted buildings has become increasingly common, painting a stark picture of the country's real estate slowdown. In response, state-owned companies, many of which are backed by the government, have stepped in to buy up these unsold properties. Their employees can be seen inspecting vacant housing units and walking through half-finished developments, looking for opportunities to acquire assets at a bargain. These firms are not private investors, but rather large organizations controlled by the state. Their decisions are often guided by government policy rather than pure profit motives, and they play a unique role in stabilizing the market. With fewer private buyers in the market, these state-owned enterprises are able to purchase properties at significant discounts, sometimes as much as 30 or even 40% below the usual market price. Real estate auctions that once drew crowds now see only a handful of bidders, and agents are forced to offer deep discounts to attract any interest at all. The main goal behind these purchases is to prevent property prices from falling even further. By stepping in as buyers of last resort, the government hopes to put a floor under the market and avoid a downward spiral in prices. This intervention is designed to calm nerves and avoid panic among investors, homeowners, and banks. When the government acts to stabilize the market, it sends a message that authorities are willing to do what it takes to maintain stability. The presence of big state-backed buyers helps to reassure the market. It prevents prices from collapsing completely and gives the impression that there is still demand for these properties, even if that demand is artificial. However, this approach does not address the underlying issues facing China's real estate sector. Many economists warn that simply buying up empty buildings does not create real demand or solve the deeper problems of oversupply and falling confidence. In many cases, the state-owned firms that purchase these properties do not actually use them. The buildings remain locked and empty, with little sign of life or activity, and entire neighborhoods can feel deserted. As a result, vast numbers of homes and offices continue to sit vacant, their lights off, and their halls silent. The problem of empty buildings persists, despite the government's efforts to prop up the market. Some experts argue that this is only a temporary solution, a short-term fix that does not address the root causes of the crisis. They debate whether the government's intervention can really restore confidence or simply delay an inevitable reckoning. There are also concerns about the financial cost. If the government continues to spend large sums buying up failed real estate projects, it could eventually run out of money for other important priorities, such as social programs or infrastructure. Moreover, this strategy sends a signal to the public and investors that the real estate market cannot survive on its own. People are watching closely, wondering if the government will always be there to bail out troubled developers. If state-owned firms were to stop buying, there is a real risk that prices could fall even further, leading to more distress among homeowners and developers alike. The sight of for sale signs piling up is a constant reminder of the market's fragility. This uncertainty makes everyone nervous, from families hoping to buy their first home, to bank managers worried about bad loans. The future of China's real estate market remains uncertain, and many are anxiously waiting to see what happens next. Banks in China are lending huge sums of money with credit lines open and cash ready to flow into the economy. Walk into any major bank, and you'll see staff busy processing loans and advertisements everywhere encouraging people to borrow for homes, cars, or businesses. The government is pushing hard, telling banks to keep credit flowing, hoping that easy access to money will keep the economy moving forward. Policymakers believe that if banks lend more, people will spend more, and businesses will invest, creating jobs and growth. But the problem is not just about how much money is available or how low the interest rates are. Even with all this cash on hand, the real challenge is getting people and businesses to actually want to borrow and spend. Many people and businesses do not want to borrow. Loan officers sit in empty offices waiting for customers who never arrive. Small business owners hesitate to take on new debt, even if the terms are attractive. People are scared that things will get worse. Families worry about their savings, and business owners fear that the next downturn could wipe them out. The uncertainty in the air makes everyone cautious. They worry about losing their jobs or seeing their businesses close. Every day, news of layoffs and shuttered shops makes people more anxious about the future. So even with cheap loans, they do not spend or invest. The money sits idle, and the economy slows down even more. This is a sign of low confidence. When people and companies are unsure about tomorrow, they hold back, waiting for clearer signals before making big decisions. Banks also face problems with bad loans. As more borrowers struggle to repay, the number of overdue and defaulted loans rises, putting pressure on the financial system. When developers or businesses cannot pay back what they owe, banks take the loss. This is especially true in sectors like real estate, where unfinished projects and empty buildings are becoming more common. This makes banks even more careful about who they lend to next. They tighten their standards, making it harder for new borrowers to get approved, even if they need the money. Some banks are starting to hide the true number of bad loans, which makes it hard to know how bad things really are. This lack of transparency adds to the uncertainty and makes investors and customers even more nervous. Without real demand for loans, Just pumping more money into the system will not fix the problem. The brochures pile up, and the printing presses keep running, but the money doesn't reach the people who need it most. It is like pushing a car with the brakes on. No matter how hard you try, progress is slow and difficult. Until confidence returns and people feel safe to borrow and spend, the economy will continue to struggle, no matter how much money the banks are willing to lend. In most countries, some inflation is a sign of a healthy economy. It means people are spending and businesses are growing. But in China, prices are barely rising. In some cases, they are even falling, a situation called deflation. Now, deflation might sound good, but it is often a warning sign. When prices drop, people tend to wait to buy things, hoping for even lower prices. This leads to less spending and fewer new jobs. Businesses make less money and may have to cut workers. Right now, China's inflation rate is close to zero. Food, clothing, and even house prices are not rising. In fact, some prices are dropping month after month. This is pretty rare for China, which used to worry about prices rising too fast. The government wants people to spend more, but fear and uncertainty make them hold back. Deflation just makes it even harder to turn things around. China is known as the world's factory. For decades, it made everything from phones to toys for the global market. But now, factories are producing less, orders from other countries are down, and some foreign companies are moving production elsewhere. This slowdown affects millions of Chinese workers. Many factories have cut hours or closed completely. Some workers have gone back to their villages, unable to find new jobs in the city. This change is not just about China. It also touches global supply chains, which depend on cheap and reliable Chinese production. Countries that buy goods from China are starting to feel delays and higher costs. Some companies are looking for new suppliers in places like Vietnam, India, or Mexico. This shift is slow, but it is happening. If China makes fewer things, the world has to adjust. This could mean higher prices and more uncertainty for everyone. China still sells much more to the world than it buys. This is called a trade surplus, and on paper, it looks strong, but if you look closer, the story changes. The reason for the surplus is not booming exports, but weak demand at home. Many Chinese people are not spending, they're saving more and buying less. This means Chinese companies sell more abroad, but sell less inside China. While trade numbers look good, they hide the reality that the local economy is not strong. Some countries worry about cheap Chinese goods flooding their markets, but these exports are not a sign of strength. They are a sign that Chinese companies cannot find enough buyers at home. In the long run, a weak home market is bad news. It means China's growth is not well balanced, and that is risky for everyone. One of the biggest worries in China is youth unemployment. Many young people are struggling to find jobs after finishing school. In cities, job fairs are crowded with hopeful graduates, but the government has stopped publishing regular data on how many young people are out of work. This lack of information makes it hard to know how bad the problem is. The last numbers showed youth unemployment at record highs, close to 20%. Since then, things may have gotten worse. Not knowing the true picture makes families anxious and experts nervous. Young people are the future of any country. If they cannot find good jobs, it affects everyone. It lowers spending, increases stress, and can even lead to social problems. China's silence on youth unemployment is a sign of how serious and sensitive the issue has become. Stock markets in China are nervous. Even after government support, investors are not rushing to buy. Many people are moving their money out of the country, looking for safer places. This shows a lack of confidence in China's future growth. The central bank is using special tools to keep money flowing, but it is not trying to create a boom. Instead, the goal is to prevent a sudden crash. This careful approach shows that leaders know the risks. The signs are clear. China's economy is not collapsing overnight, but it is under strain. Government support is keeping things standing but leaning. Without deep changes, growth will likely stay slow. The world is watching closely. China's troubles matter for everyone, from big companies in America to workers in Africa. The next steps will shape the global economy for years.